What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another deck profile here on TCG University for the card game UniVersus. My name's Tam, and today I'm going to be showing you Tyler's banned Shinnok deck. Yes, we decided that this week we're going to have a little fun, and we're going to play a bunch of banned characters in our Banned Brawl Campus Championship. So, yeah, we know you can't play the characters, and that's fine. Let's have a little fun with some kitchen table UFS. Let's jump into the profile. All right, so this is Shinnok. He is a very banned character, and the reason he's banned is because of the fact that he says on his character card, my abilities cannot be canceled. And so the whole point of Shinnok is he's the big bad boss of Mortal Kombat, and for anybody who hasn't seen one of my deck profiles, as opposed to just reading the cards outright, I'm going to tell you what the deck wants to do and some interesting interactions inside of the deck. And so the elevator pitch for this deck is I want my opponent to not have any cards. I just want them to not have the things, and then eventually I'll just kill them. With all of my attacks getting +2 speed off of Shinnok, and then once I'm at Desperation, which is less than half health, I get to draw 2 cards and discard a card in order to filter and find the stuff that I need. I want them not to have things. Using the response, using the cards inside of the deck, and the fact that you can't cancel what it is that I'm doing, I'm going to be in control of the game. He is the perfect control character. Let's move on to the deck. So, the first thing that you will notice with this deck is it wants to have as much momentum as possible. So the easiest way to get momentum under any symbol is by just playing Fatality. It just says, once you discard a card out of your hand, essentially play this into your card pool, grab a momentum, and my opponent can't really do anything about it. They can't do anything because I'm Shinnok anyways, but the card says they can't even play Enhances. Up next, we're playing for Gio De Ray. This card was quite the catch for Shinnok, playing under Death. If I have more momentum than my opponent, which I do because I'm playing cool cards like Fatality and Gio, I destroy one of their foundations. Shinnok's destroying foundations. And then if I block with this, I get to take and add the top card of my deck to my momentum. My opponent can discard a card to cancel this, which is a huge resource trade-off. I either get an extra bullet or they discard a bullet. In addition to that, we're playing Elemento. It's kind of like a little baby version of Gio De Ray, because it doesn't give them the option to discard the cancel, and this is just played as a reversal. You just like block reversal. It's a 5 mid for 3, which essentially gives me an additional momentum because nobody's going to want to block the 5 mid for 3 on their turn, not unless they're truly desperate to make sure that you don't have that momentum. So now that we have all this momentum, what do we spend it on? Well, easy. One of my favorite ultra rares in the entire game, Casa Del Amor. It is a 7 high for 5 that says, I discard a momentum, I destroy one of your foundations. You can either pay 2 life, discard a card, or I get to destroy the foundation. And if they're at deadlock or at desperation, I get the top 2 cards of my momentum. And so with all of these cards under our disposal, the fact that we get to just turbo into momentum is incredibly strong. And then with Shinnok destroying foundations, Gio De Ray destroying foundations, Casa De Leviathan destroying foundations, they're not going to have any foundations left, and so I'm just going to demolish them. And the fact that this card is on a 5 diff in Shinnok is a 9 high for a 5 at bare minimum is nutty. It's a very fast card. It's essentially a 5 difficulty Fatality. They're not blocking this card, and if they are, they're using a lot of resources so that they can't block the next card we're playing, From Hell. It says, if this card's not blocked, destroy one of my opponent's foundations. I get to pick, and they lose vitality equal to the printed control of the card, which is the bottom number down here. So if they've got a 6 down there, I hit them for 6 because they didn't block, and then I bop them. It is a Desperation card, which is great for Shinnok because I'm constantly burning myself. It has EX3, which is something great to spend all this cool momentum I have on. And then it gets an additional 2 speed from Shinnok, and making it a 5 high for 6. If they do decide to block the Casa, they're not going to block the From Hell. And the From Hell is going to do just as much damage as the Casa would have. Maybe even more. The next thing we're spending our momentum on, the last thing is double Guiltseeker. This says grab a multiple. It is a throw, which means it's going to go to my momentum so that I can snowball into bigger stuff. And if I've played the multiple, I get to destroy one of my opponent's foundations, and they can't cancel it. Very strong stuff. One of the easiest ways to stop this card is just by playing Revoke. Shinnok doesn't care about that. And then my last attack, it's kind of defensive, but it's still relevant, is Flame Aura. There's lots of times inside of this deck that leading off with a Flame Aura might be the thing that is life or death in order to I put my opponent to 4. Well, if I play Flame Aura and 3 other attacks, I've won the game. If I play Flame Aura, and 1 other attack, I've won the game. Because if they don't block the Flame Aura, then I'm gonna do them 4. If they do block the Flame Aura, then they're gonna burn 1. As well as this card's just like a really good block card. Shinnok puts himself to desperation. He can put himself to 8 really easy, and every attack in that game pretty much does 8 damage. And so being able to free block off of a high block twice in a match is really, really relevant. So on to the actions and assets, the supplementary support cards. You all saw it coming. The easiest answer in the world. We're playing Fortigore Brothers. If I said the point of this deck is to destroy foundations, and this is the main culprit to do it. After my opponent does a thing, negate it, destroy it. And then they can't cancel my Tagoro Brothers because I'm Shinnok. And then if they try to draw any more cards, I'm going to destroy more stuff. It's just these 2 cards are a match made in heaven. Match made in heaven. On to the assets, we've got 1 Swordfish 2. This is just a keep me alive card. Or if I need to, I can play an attack, use Swordfish, grab 2 momentum, and now my Casas are alive, or my From Hells are alive, or so on and so forth. I can use this aggressively. But man, I better kill them because this card is such a good defensive tool. We're playing in a very similar vein, 1 Drossel. It's just baby Swordfish. I have to be at desperation, and they have to have momentum. But instead of adding this to momentum, I commit it instead. So I get to keep it. It's useful more than once, and it just negates an attack. Having both of these out there means when my opponent has to have a grip of attacks in order to kill me. And then my last asset is Nirvana. It just says after they play a keyword ability, cancel it. I get to cancel their stuff. They don't get to cancel mine. Seems smart in a control deck to have cancel stuff. On to the foundations. So I kind of break foundations into what their jobs are, what their groups of the cards do. And so the first group, honestly, is just more fuel, baby. That's just what I want to call it. First form, check out 7. There's plenty of times where I want to build foundations. This just says add the top card of my deck to my my momentum. It's just check a 7 fatality. Just real simple. It's a 2/5. We're not playing any foundation assets foundation weapon foundations, wow, except for Manji, and so you could discard a momentum and stack the other Manji inside of your deck, but the likelihood of that happening is so slim. That momentum is probably going to be used somewhere else. On to the rest of the please kill them cards. We've got double Hunt for Spiders and Dragons. If my attack's not blocked, they burn for 2. They're probably not going to block that 9-speed Casa. As well as a little bit of control because I can flip the things that I don't want. Maybe they don't have a thing that negates per se, but they have a thing that just interacts with my character really weird. They have a thing that like discards my whole momentum. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. We're playing 4 over the top just because I want to be able to build out as much as possible because of the next card that I'm playing. I want to be able to build as many foundations because every time that my opponent does not block me, I'm going to burn them for an additional 2 damage. Shell of a Proud Man is absolutely insane. Response, commit 1 foundation, any foundation inside of your staging area, probably over the top or something that's flipped or face down or something not useful. After your opponent doesn't block, they lose 2. So it just says commit 2 more damage. And there was one time that I had 2 or 3 of these out on the board and they didn't block something, and I just committed all 3 of them and said, hey, this was an extra attack. We could equate it to this. You ready? There's like a whole podcast I could do just on how good Shell of a Proud Man is, because it just says commit a foundation. I would love to increase the difficulty of any of my attacks in the game by 1 for +2 damage. That sounds great. That sounds super, super good. There's way more that you can be said. If you're not playing this card, you should definitely reevaluate the strength of this one. We're playing into the defensive part of our deck. We're into the Please Don't Kill Me cards. Triple Telekinetic Mastery. A lot of ways that you stop this deck is reducing the damage to nothing, which is why non-blocks are, if my opponent doesn't block, is such a useful thing. Because my stuff is so fast. Reducing my my Casas from 5 damage to 0 damage means that it doesn't matter how fast it is. And so this card would be a really good counter against Shinnok or something along the likes. So why wouldn't I play it? We're playing Double Guardian of the Spirit Sword, just -3 speed on weapons. Weapons are all over the place right now. We have 2 Soul Calibur sets in the game as well as every other weapon, or just a free -2 or -3. Being able to block stuff's really good. Kieran Soul, this card's insane whenever you get to combo it with Flame Aura or Nightmare Tears, which I'll just go ahead and pull out. Nightmare Tears is going to be the next card. It's just a free... Nightmare Tears is a free low block where Flame Aura is a free high block, and Kieran Soul says if I block it, nothing happens. Really, really strong. We're playing Triple Conquest of Terror, flip for -2 speed, or commit for +2 speed. Pretty solid. We're playing Double the Dark Side of Karma. I'm allowed to negate stuff. You're not, so why wouldn't I play the negates under my symbol? Just seems smart. We're playing a 4-cage fighter. I want my opponent to commit as many foundations as possible. I want to end their turn just as quickly as I can, and this is just the easiest way to do it. And 3 Syndicate target, excuse me. This card is just stats the card. It's a 0/6/0 low block. But this card is really, really good in here because it has this secret text on it that says when you have a Shell of the Proud Man out, they don't block something, your Syndicate target now commits for an additional 2 damage. And so this card just turns all of your bad cards into really, really strong cards. All right, so that was Shinnok 1 dot. Yeah, 1 dot, 1 dot. There hasn't been a second one. Under Death. Big shout outs to Tyler for making this deck for our Band Brawl Campus Championship. Like I said at the very beginning, I just want to reiterate, these characters are all banned from this tournament. They are banned from competitive play, but they're not banned from a kitchen table. So if you like the deck or you like the engine, make sure you check out, leave a like, comment down below. Let Tyler know how you liked his deck. And if you want to have a bigger in-depth conversation, go out to patreon.com/TCGUniversity. Subscribe out there for the $1 level and jump in our Discord where we can have an entire long conversation about not just Shinnok, but the engine and how nutty Shell of a Proud Man is. We'll see you out there. And then lastly, if you want to watch the Campus Championships live, they are live every Tuesday at 6 o'clock with a bracket and chat and just hanging out, having a blast. So we will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching and stay learned.